Welcome to Nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. I am Norlene Ebel Ame. We begin the broadcast in the State House, where the federal government flagged off the Presidential Women's Health Transformation Initiative tagged Renew Her to safeguard maternal health. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who flagged off the initiative, notes that women's health is fundamental to Nigeria's development. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Congratulations. We, of course, have officially launched.
This is an answer to one of the nation's most critical requests and a cornerstone of a healthier Nigeria, rating it as a national priority. The program, designed to be the national engine of collaboration among all stakeholders.
This is the wisdom behind.
Vice President Kashim Shettima said maternal health is the heartbeat of every family, the compass of social stability, and the index of national welfare.
Maternal mortality is a shame against which we must all rally. We owe every girl child not just the eloquent promise of a better tomorrow, but the certainty of a healthier one. Yet we cannot guarantee this in isolation. This future rests upon the collective commitment of all, whether as public institutions, private actors, ministries, or development partners, to champion the cause of the Nigerian woman.
The Renew Her initiative will also introduce a presidential focal office on women's health, working closely with the Federal Ministry of Health, the Statewide Approach Coordination Office, the Ministry of Women Affairs, and the Governors' Spouses Forum to ensure women's health priorities are embedded in every part of the nation.
With the launch of Renew Her, however, we remain committed to expanding these efforts, scaling up mobile clinics, empowering more community health workers, and bringing essential services closer to our communities.
Renew Her is here to convene, to amplify, to facilitate, but most importantly, to collaborate.
The government also announced the creation of an AI-powered National Women's Health Digital Hub to deliver geo-targeted campaigns on maternal survival, adolescent health, preventive care, and workforce strengthening, as the hub will connect women and families with trusted health information while linking healthcare to entrepreneurship and national prosperity. From the State House, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
Still staying with the State House, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has called on women in leadership positions to work harder and ensure that they make life easier for other women using the instrumentality of economic empowerment and mentorship. She made the call when the Forum of Female Chief Executive Officers of government agencies and organizations paid her a courtesy visit in the villa. The report will come in our subsequent broadcast. The ongoing advocacy for women inclusion in all spheres of governance continues to resonate louder, with more organizations affirming their stance. The latest is the affirmative credence of African Women Leaders Network National Consortium for Collaborative Strategy for the Advancement of Women in Leadership. Ngozi Teknikyo reports.
Recognizing that Nigerian women are breaking the stereotypes and standing out in different fields, Civil society groups and NGOs are leaving nothing to chance in amplifying women's voices for greater opportunities in leadership, not just in Nigeria, but across Africa. Networking amongst themselves, women are exploring a workable approach to achieve their goals, ensuring that no one is left behind.
This consortium is not merely about promoting quotas, although this is necessary. It is also about women and men of conscience working together collectively to promote competence, contribution, and credibility in building a sound governance culture and a viable nation.
I believe if we continue to work together, we are actually going to push this gender agenda forward.
The aim of this network, I would say, is to increase women's voice in decision-making through peer learning, through networking, mentoring, and capacity building.
The appeal for reserved seats for women in the legislative chambers, speakers say, is long overdue.
And what I am calling on us to do is to break out of that model where the women are there at the instance of some gatekeeper.
It's really high time that we have a lot of women be part of the governance so that our voice can be heard.
With continuous advocacy, African Women Leaders Network believe will lead to more women's participation in the governance as well as peace and security in Nigeria. In Abuja, Ngozi Technicio, NT News.
In other news, the federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to transparency and accountability in budget implementation, urging Nigerians to take ownership of the budgeting process. This call to action was made at the third quarter Citizens and Stakeholders Engagement Forum at the instance of the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. Neka Oko reports.
Fiscal Responsibility Act asks the Budget Office to give us a report of quarterly budget implementation 1 month.
Issues of this nature coming up here are some of the reasons the quarterly Stakeholders Citizens Engagement Forum by the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning is of essence. It is an opportunity for citizens to directly engage with policymakers and have their voices heard. The forum urged citizens to embrace their role as co-owners of the nation's fiscal framework.
Every Nigerian has the right and the duty to ask, where is our money going? What value are we getting?
The Statistician General of the Federation outlined the National Bureau of Statistics' ongoing initiatives to deepen citizen engagement, sustained interactions with the media to amplify the dissemination of information, and remodeling of the MBS digital platform to improve user-friendliness.
So we encourage National Bureau of Statistics to, as much as possible, engage with citizens, explain methodology, and so that when they release statistics, at least their basis for doing so can be understood.
Stakeholders urged the government to sustain the momentum of citizen engagement. In Abuja, Neka Oko, NTA News.
Concerned stakeholders are pushing for an effective tobacco tax system that will help in reducing affordability and improving public health. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports that this was during a validation workshop on the tobacco excise tax simulation report for Nigeria in Abuja.
As Nigeria reviews its tobacco excise tax regime, this simulation report serves as a useful tool to guide policymakers in designing policies that will reduce health risks associated with tobacco usage.
Even Naira and Kobo, lost as a result of low tobacco tax rates in the country, present excess profit for multinational corporations. They are not, indigenous, and the revenue forgone for the government. This is not reflective of a country that intends to diversify and increase revenue generation for development. We need to support government to ensure that government achieve its objectives.
The way you are leading in terms of economic performance in Africa, top 3 in terms of performance, at some time #1. So you can also be the model that we can look up to when it comes to taxation of tobacco.
Nigeria is committed to aligning with this standard, considering the fact the country has the lowest excise rate compared to most countries on comparative ground, thus ensuring that our fiscal policy contribute both to sustainable development.
Our hope is that this study, which tries to quantify the public health and the fiscal impacts of an increase in the excise tax, is going to support the relative parties in Nigeria.
With the tobacco tax regime coming to an end in May 2025, the ongoing efforts by the Federal Ministry of Finance to review the regime becomes imperative. The workshop is put together by the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center and other partners. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Elsewhere, Nigeria and the United Kingdom are strengthening collaboration to explore opportunities in the creative sector. Joshua Ojito reports that the two nations have launched a Creative Economy Week to expand access to jobs for sustainable development.
A night to interact, dialogue and networking among creative practitioners, policymakers, industry players and investors on how to explore opportunities in the creative sector, thereby inspiring collaboration, strengthening skills that will position Nigeria's global creative potential. Convened by the British Council in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism and the Creative Economy, the event reflects the role of the creative economy in shaping inclusive societies, empowering youths, and creating opportunities for sustainable growth. Both nations believe that diverse voices, creative talent, and cultural exchange can drive economic growth.
Our mandate is clear: to create an environment where creativity is not just a passion, but a viable and prosperous profession.
The creative economy is one of 8 sectors that are prioritised in the agreement between the UK and Nigeria called the Enhanced Trade and Investment Partnership. We believe that the UK and Nigeria, we have a real opportunity for mutual benefit.
Creative economy is a gold mine of innovations. Nigeria has a lot to offer to the world. When Nigerians use talent and culture to earn money or to create jobs, that's creative economy at work.
With the theme, Building Futures Through Creativity, the Creative Economy Week will showcase innovation, skills and collaboration in 6 cities in Nigeria and London. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency, NBRDA, has signed a memorandum of agreement with Shanghai Haiqi Industrial Company Limited of China to establish Nigeria's first sustainable insulin manufacturing facility. The agreement, signed by the Director General of NBRDA, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, and the General Manager of Shanghai Haiqi Bohai Zhai, was witnessed by the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Nnaji. This milestone is expected to significantly reduce the country's dependence on imported insulin, which has long been a burden for millions of Nigerians living with diabetes, and improve access to affordable, high-quality insulin. The Minister, Uche Nnaji, commended NBRDA's leadership for driving the initiative, calling it a significant landmark which prioritizes innovation, healthcare security, and economic diversification. The construction of the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway and other legacy projects are visionary initiatives of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu aimed at opening economic opportunities as well as addressing transportation and security challenges. Minister of State for Works, Bello Muhammad Goronyo, stated this while inspecting the Sokoto State section of the road project. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu has the details.
The inspection visit was at the channels 107 and 74 in Silame and Binji local government areas of the 120-kilometer Sokoto section of the superhighway. The project, flagged off last year by the Minister of Works David Umahi with the support of Governor Ahmad Aliyu, is one of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's major legacy initiatives under the Renewed Hope agenda.
Can see the level of progress made in terms of not only the clearance, but sand filling. And he has promised us that he will complete his section by the end of December. The intention of Mr. President is to open up this country, the road arteries of this nation, so that economic activities can flourish. Transportation of goods and services will be easier and faster.
Community leaders expressed gratitude to Mr. President for the foresight behind the initiative. Though challenges remain, ranging from heavy rains to security concerns, stakeholders pledged to surmount them to avoid delays in execution. The concrete highway will feature 3 lanes on each side, boreholes at every 5-kilometer stretch, solar-powered street lights and CCTV cameras to enhance security. In Sokoto, Abdullah Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
Let's shift our attention to agriculture, where the Ministry of Livestock Development and the Rural Electrification Agency have signed a memorandum of understanding to provide solar-powered grids in grazing reserves across Nigeria. The partnership aimed at enhancing livestock productivity and support livelihoods of communities at the grazing reserves. Yusuf Jika reports.
The handshake is not pleasantries but marks the beginning of a new era and a solar-powered grid for unserved grazing communities with the pilot projects in Wase Plateau State, Wawazangi in Gombe, Gongoshi in Adamawa, and Kawo Grazing Reserve in the FCT. The partnership, according to the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Meha, is to unlock the full potential of the livestock industry through a shared commitment and for the realization of renewed hub villages.
For the quality of life to improve on those areas, to incentivize the pastoralists to remain there and have access to other economic activities, we need to energize those areas. And the best way to do it is not to rely on a national grid.
All the value chains we're going to intervene in, we need power. So this is a big milestone for us.
For the Managing Director, Rural Electrification Agency, preliminary design for the intervention has been concluded not only to provide electricity, but catalyze development of the sector.
This is a sweet honey for Rural Electrification Agency. We deploy our infrastructure to energize that entire element, and that is why we are having this partnership. We call it not partnership, but we call it a marriage of convenience.
With this partnership, life at the grazing reserves will be enhanced, thereby stimulating economic growth of the people and the vast communities of livestock developers. In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
In a related development, application of fertilizer distribution and accessibility has been a source of concern in the agricultural sector. The federal government, through Kano State government, sensitizes the public on how best to apply it.
Farmers were guided through practical sessions on blending organic and inorganic fertilizers, with emphasis on how the combination improves soil fertility and drives higher yields.
Sensitization comes at the right time when the prices of fertilizer, especially chemical fertilizer, has gone up and they are in the dilemma of how to finance the production of agricultural produce.
Combine organic and inorganic fertilizer I use in my farm.
The sensitization also highlighted safe application methods, stressing that proper fertilizer use not only protects farmlands, but also ensures healthier quality food production.
This sensitization is focused on one, the quality of the fertilizers they are supposed to use. Then, how to use those fertilizers.
The message stood out clearly. That is, effective fertilizer management is key to boosting food security, raising productivity, and delivering better agricultural produce across the region.
Joining us live to speak further on the application of fertilizer during farming activities is Yahanasu Barau from Kano. Hello, Yahanasu. Now, from your findings, how can farmers in Kano State optimize the use of organic and inorganic fertilizers to improve crop yields sustainably, considering factors like soil health, costs, and local availability?
Yes, sure. You know, most of the farmers, what they mostly concentrate on is the use of the inorganic fertilizer, so to say, because their concentration is more on the availability of the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But the government is trying to, you know, educate them, let them have the knowledge of the organic manure too, because it is what helps to maintain the soil texture, soil structure, and even the soil color itself. When you apply the organic manure, as it is rightly pointed, the soil water retention too is being maintained. So these farmers were educated on how to apply both, because what Nigeria is talking about is to ensure food security, and by doing so, food will be readily available because the yields will be increased. Farmers will not be wasting their money. They will buy, you know, a little of the inorganic fertilizer, so to say, because the organic manures are gotten from animal dung, the compost, and even crops residues that they waste anyhow. So these farmers were educated on that. In addition to what they were educated is the issue of soil testing, because you can't come and be applying both organic and inorganic manure without knowing certainly what your soil contains. So these farmers were educated on that, and already the federal government and some centers like the Center for Dryland Agriculture here at Bayero University, Kano, have stationed soil testing you know, lab, where these farmers will take their samples and the soil are tested to see which better manure or the inorganic fertilizer they should apply to reduce costs and ensure that the health of the soil is maintained.
Yahanasu, in knowing the type of inorganic fertilizers to, you know, apply, what are some indicators that farmers can look out for to determine if their fertilizer application strategy is effective and balanced?
Well, the indicators is from the output itself. But these farmers cannot know what to apply without doing the soil testing like it is done in the developed world. You have to know the content of your soil. What are the nutrients therein for you to add up to what you need to meet up with the yield. So that is why these labs are stationed. These farmers are advised to take their samples, and it is going to go around all the 44 local governments, so that even farmers at the hinterland looking at Kano, because most of the people here in Kano are mostly farmers. So when they have these labs close to their doorstep, surely the soil testing will help greatly to ensuring that the output is maintained.
Very well. Thank you very much, Yahanasu, for your contribution from Kano.
Thank you.
From Kano, we take you to Lagos, where we'll have more reports on Nationwide with Hingino John Adams in our Lagos studio. Over to you, Hingino.
And welcome to Lagos. The federal government says it will continue to ensure that all federal road projects nationwide get adequate attention in meeting with targeted time of completion. Minister of Works David Umahi gave this assurance while inspecting the level of work done on the coastal highway. Larry Bele has details.
All road projects dear to President Bola Tinubu's administration called legacy projects are the 1,068 kilometers Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway, 477 kilometer Trans-Saharan Highway traversing Calabar and Boyi, Kogi, Benue, Nasarawa, and the FCT, and the 422 kilometer Akwanga-Jos Bauchi Gombe Expressway, as well as the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. where the minister is monitoring the level of work done in controlling the ocean surge.
And the minister emphasized the importance of this legacy project, and it's going to be a loop that will connect almost all other 4 legacy projects in the country.
No damage to any of the completed section. What you can have is this massive sand filling that we are doing, and then the stone base, and until it is covered, the rain is permitted, to do whatever it wants to do. But in all, it does help us technically. And again, we have only 2.5 kilometers, that we are tackling, which is also a very terrible, swamp. The next 40 days it will be completed, and that section is linked up, some filling wise.
David Umahi revealed that the Surveyor General of the Federation has been mandated to work with the Governors and Ministry of Works to acquire land along the corridors of these legacy road projects across the Federation to ensure return of investment. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Talking climate now. To build a climate-resilient Nigeria through actionable early warning systems amidst unfavorable weather patterns, the Nigeria Meteorological Agency, NIMET, is advocating stronger collaborations between stakeholders and relevant agencies. Joel Pupola reports that this is the thrust of the stakeholders' engagement by NIMET in Lagos.
Climate change is changing the narrative, setting the pace for the world to follow. And Nigeria is not an exception. Early warnings on flooding and other unfavorable weather patterns are always on the front burner. Sadly, many of these predictions still manifest, raising concerns about the level of preparation and actionable plans to forestall a reoccurrence. This stakeholders forum with the theme Early Warnings, Raising Awareness on Climate Risk and Promoting Early Actions is one of the ways to find a lasting solution to this trend of disruptions in climate outlook, which is having adverse effects on food security, aviation, and other sectors. Director General and CEO of NIMET, Professor Charles Anosike, and other speakers agreed that the forum would hasten attainment of disaster risk reduction, since all relevant agencies will now begin to work more as a team.
On disaster risk reduction, we are partnering with the Nigerian Hydrological Services, NISA, the National Emergency Management, NEMA, and other organizations to mitigate the impact of weather and climate-related disasters. The agency has many products targeted at this sector.
A lot of people at the grassroots are analog. We need more of this information going out in a simple way for them to understand it.
Early warnings and predictions by NIMET and other agencies should not be treated as business as usual, and state governments are now expected to do more.
Climate change is going to increase the incidence of extreme weather events. It is extremely important to have early warning capabilities.
Implementation of the actionable plans agreed at the forum is key to salvage Nigeria from the consequences of climate change. In Lagos, Joel Pupola, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide continues with Nolin in Abuja after the break.
As for the loss of audio in that commercial, and moving on with the news, Nigeria is a nation rich in cultural diversity with over 250 ethnic groups and more than 500 languages. While this diversity is strength, it also presents challenges. Experts gathered for a one-day seminar on ethics, values, and management of cultural diversity in Nigeria. Gloria Agbo was there.
This seminar explores strategies for promoting inclusivity and cultural sensitivity and creating awareness that cultural diversity is an asset, but it requires effective management to prevent conflict and promote inclusivity.
If we can have good grasp of our culture, the ethics, values, are built in our culture because it is our culture that first produced the values and ethics.
Revisit of cultural value will reduce crime in Nigeria. It's as simple as that. The earlier we understand the reality of our situation, the truth in our situation, the better for Nigeria.
Speakers at the seminar organized by the National Institute for Cultural Orientation all agreed that as Nigeria continues to grow and develop, managing cultural diversity is crucial in achieving national development goals. In Abuja, Glory Agbo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, has released a preliminary report on a runway incursion incident involving an Air Peace Boeing 737 aircraft at Port Harcourt International Airport on July 13, 2025. The preliminary report, signed by NSIB Director of Public Affairs and Family Assistance, Bimbo Oladeji, stated that the crew members were under the influence of substances including alcohol and cannabis, indicating recent consumption during the flight. The Bureau has issued immediate safety recommendations to Air Peace, emphasizing the need to strengthen crew resource management, training, and reinforce internal procedures for crew fitness and duty monitoring. The NSIB's findings raise significant safety concerns and highlight the importance of strict adherence to aviation regulations and safety protocols. Former Senator representing Zamfara Central, Saidu Sadau, has appealed to the federal government to reintroduce regulatory framework in places of worship to contain inflammatory statements capable of disturbing the existing peace in the country. Dan Sadau, who is also an Islamic scholar and elder statesman, said Islam and Christianity are two religions that preaches peace and human dignity, are urged preachers to abide by principles, love, tolerance, forgiveness, and sacrifice.
Even before the the amalgamation of the northern and southern protectorates, there was regulation of preaching in the north. During the colonial time, there was also regulation of preaching. During the Second Republic, there was regulation of preaching. And that's why there was peace. You wouldn't be allowed to go and preach until you have certificate. And the certificates are in categories. So what you are going to preach must be based on the depth of your knowledge, and must be based on where you are going to preach. Because preaching in my village must be different from preaching in Abuja. And you can't find anywhere in the Holy Quran where the Holy Quran says Christians are enemies of the Muslims.
The Zamfara former born senator has finally announced plan to fully retire to religious scholarship and extolled the virtues of Prophet Muhammad after 1,500 years of fulfilling his divine calling to mankind. Creating opportunities and breaking boundaries towards digitization and entrepreneurial evolution took center stage in Dutse, Jigawa State, where the National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, engaged ICT stakeholders in a strategic meeting. Muhammad Musa Askira reports that the meeting is to forge ahead developments through ICT in Jigawa State.
The engagement, held under the Office of the Director General, Jigawa State Information and Communication Technology and Digital Economy Agency, drew participants from across the state in line with Governor Umar Namadi's vision to integrate technology into the development revolution of Jigawa. Represented at the event, Governor Umar Namadi reiterated that his administration is leveraging ICT to drive meaningful progress across sectors of the state. He emphasized that this is why government is pursuing with urgency see the attainment of 75% digital literacy coverage by the year 2027.
And our focus actually is mainly on how to give digital literacy and capacity building to our society, especially the young people, the women.
We've been going through the entire country from one state to the other to see how we can work with them to align their IT policies with the national IT policy to ensure that we can achieve an holistic development of the digital economy in the country.
We'll now brainstorm, come together, share ideas, collaborate, and ensure that we take the digital economy to the grassroots.
Get the stakeholders together to sit down and look at the future of ICT and digital economy in the state.
The meeting also served to acquaint participants with the importance of ICT in accelerating development, both in Jigawa and across Nigeria. Governor Namadi charged participants to put into practical use the knowledge gained during the session for the overall benefits of the state. Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And talking education now, the new 2025-2026 secondary school curriculum comes with significant reforms targeted at aligning the nation's education with contemporary global technology. Kingsley Amajiri engaged stakeholders on the implementation and possible impact.
The new secondary school curriculum provides broader and more specialized subjects with focus on technology and soft skills. Students will now be opportune to take new subjects like journalism, public speaking, advanced programming, digital entrepreneurship, among others. It potentially reduces subject overload, inspires creativity, and digital media literacy. Will it also address the age-long concern of Nigerian education system producing graduates without skills?
If this can start from the primary school level, from the lower level, that's the foundational level, and it comes like this, you'll see that Nigerians will become highly technological.
With implementation expected to begin this 2025-2026 academic session, stakeholders are divided on the feasibility of the takeoff date, calling for building and equipping of workshops, laboratories, and training of teachers for effective delivery.
You have come up with a program. Prepare the ground first. Build laboratories, build workshops, train the teachers that will handle these subject areas.
If it is to train them, create a special environment project, workshop to train them, tell them this is what we are going to do. We are starting by so and so time. This is what this course is all about. So that when once you start, you can start and you can start better.
Observers note that Nigeria educational curriculum has undergone different reforms, but usually suffers implementation challenges. They suggest that evaluation timeline be put in place to help measure progress and performance while also taking remedial action to achieve set goals. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Still staying in Port Harcourt, let's now join Kingsley Amajiri for more reactions. Kingsley, what are experts actually saying on the new school curriculum initiated by the federal government?
All right, what we'll talk about this new curriculum, the general reception is quite in the positive direction. A number of experts who have spoken concerning this new curriculum, they have welcomed the development, given that there is an added advantage that this curriculum is coming with, especially the issue of digital literacy. So many persons have commended this, but the concern many have also raised is on the issue of implementation. Take, for instance, they have also tried to review the last curriculum, talking about the 6334 education system. Ab initio, that curriculum, from their own perspective, was meant to also engender skills development, especially for at the junior secondary school level. But some have raised concern that that curriculum was not followed through, because at the junior secondary school, JSS 3 level, students who are not academically sound were expected to branch out and go and acquire skills. But this policy some have raised the issue that it wasn't followed through. What we have seen over the years is that people continue through, whether they are doing well or not in the secondary education, they go through to the end. But then, with this new curriculum, how do you get teachers that will implement this policy is also an issue that should be considered from the expert perspective. Some have suggested that from at the beginning stage, given that there are not enough manpower to drive these about 30 skill development areas to 60, some have suggested, some experts in the academic sector and even in the industry have suggested that probably the government should begin to think about engaging those professionals, not minding if they have the qualification, talking about higher education qualification, first degree, so to speak. But for those who have the those technical know-how, they should be engaged at this beginning stage to impact this knowledge. And the area of technical development in terms of the technical skills, manpower should also be groomed. And also, the government should try to hire this manpower to impact this knowledge in terms of engaging more hands that will train these students in order to make this successful. Aside from that, there are those who have also argued that beyond what we have had in the last curriculum, there should be evaluation process. That, why some persons have argued that there should be timeline for this implementation. Go headlong. There should be timeline from this so period. These workshops, the laboratories will have been set up, equipment installed before this implementation fully take off. But in all, what people are saying is that, well, government have come up with this idea that is noble. Educators and also other critical stakeholders across different tiers of government should work collectively to make it a success.
Thank you very much, Kingsley Amajiri. Your submission is well noted by the relevant authorities. Now, let's take you to the Home of Peace, where Ladidi Musa is our guide in our Maiduguri studio. Ladidi, you're on.
Inolin, and welcome to Maiduguri. Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Aslim has inaugurated dental and eye hospitals, as well as College of Nursing and Midwifery in Mongono headquarters, Mongono local government area, during which he flagged off free cataract operation for citizens of Northern Borno Senatorial District. Mohammed Gone report that the governor also directed construction of 100 units of houses to accommodate staff of the health institution.
Provision of affordable, accessible, and quality healthcare service is one of the priorities of the present administration in Borno State, which informed the construction of the dental and eye hospitals in Mongono. With similar hospitals already built and put to use in view for Southern Borno and the completed College of Nursing awaiting inauguration in Goza, each senatorial zone in the state now has the health facilities which are designed to improve healthcare services. The colleges of nursing and midwifery are training ground for upcoming pre-medics, whose services are crucial to the functioning of the hospitals. Governor Bagana Omar Azlim urged the stakeholders in the area to ensure ownership of the facilities and encourage youth in the northern senatorial zone to take advantage of the colleges to become nurses and midwives. The governor also announced approval of 3 billion naira for construction of specialist hospital in Mongono.
The security situation in Borno State has improved by over 90%, and I believe in partnership with the federal government, with the establishment of the forest guards and others, we shall deal with this matter decisively.
Senator representing Northern Borno, Mohamed Tahir Mongono, and the member representing Marte Mongono Nganze Federal Constituency, Bukar Talba, appreciated Governor Zulum for the numerous developmental projects in the senatorial zone, assuring him of their commitment to their sustainability. Commissioner for Health, Professor Baba Malam Gana, put down Governor Zulum for the 15% budgetary allocation for the health sector, said Borno is the only state that has dental and eye hospitals as well as colleges of nursing in each zone. Mongono local government chairman Liman Alaji Kalla appreciated the present administration for the numerous developmental projects and assured the authorities of their commitment to safeguarding the facilities. In Mongono headquarters of Mongono local government, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
Women have been identified as intelligent actors in development and not helpless victims who ought to be given the opportunity to explore their potentials for a more prosperous and productive society. The recommendation came to light during the program on advancing gender equality and women's empowerment through community dialogue and social cohesion project with stakeholders held in Maiduguri. Abubakar Musa reports.
The ongoing socio-economic challenges and conflict in northeast Nigeria have disproportionately affected women and girls, thereby deepening gender inequality and restricted their participation in community life and economic activities. To change the aforementioned narratives, the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, with additional funding from European Union, commissioned the Supporting Sustainable Social Protection, Participation and Economic Resilience in Northeast Nigeria project. Hence, this program on advancing gender equality and women's empowerment. Key actors at the event, led by Zenith of the Girl, Child and Women Initiative Support, Zekawi, say the meeting also seeks to encourage women's participation in decision-making, foster inclusiveness and gender awareness, support women's socio-economic engagement, and strengthen community structures to advocate women's empowerment, which shall be carried out within MMC and Nigeria local governments using participatory approaches.
Our target is to have a direct 380 women being reached through community dialogue session, where they will also be having the opportunity to learn a lot.
There were submissions from Ministry of Women Affairs, civil society organizations, program overview of supporting sustainable social protection, participation and economic resilience, overview of advancing gender equality and women's empowerment project, as well as feedback from stakeholders. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
Well, those are the trending stories from here. For now, Nationwide will continue in Ibadan. After this time out, stay with us.
To Ibadan. The Nigerian Air Force has reaffirmed its commitment to accountability and financial prudence as key pillars of its operational effectiveness. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Hassan Bala Abubakar stated this at the Nigerian Air Force Finance Conference and Retreat 2025 held at the Nigerian Air Force School of Finance and Accounts Auditorium, Abuja, Ibadan. Ayomiku Ajibola has the report.
Nigerian Air Force Finance Conference Retreat 2025 with the theme Sustainable Resources Management for Effective Air Power Delivery is to ensure prudent financial management and strategic resources allocation, leveraging best practice to enhance professional effectiveness, promote transparency, and foster accountability, ultimately supporting Chief of Air Staff CAR's command philosophy. CARS, while highlighting the strategic importance of accounting and defense management, underscore the need for precision, transparency, and accountability, urge participants to embrace the core value of discipline, integrity, and excellence, as these principles are vital to both the accounting profession and military leadership.
We must therefore devise innovative solutions to ensure every fund entrusted to us is utilized judiciously. It is envisaged that the conference and its outcomes will strengthen accountability and support prudent resource management.
The Chief of Air Staff toured facilities at the Nigerian Air Force School of Finance and Accounts situated in Abuja, which was inaugurated in May this year. The school is expected to serve, among others, as Center of Excellence, providing specialized training for finance administration, budgeting, auditing, and resource management tailored towards the unique needs of the military. From Abuja in Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
And that does it from Ibadan. Nolin, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Kemi. And we shall now take the First Lady's report on receiving Forum of Female CEOs in Government.
Led by the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, members of the Forum of Female Chief Executive Officers in government agencies and organizations are in the office of Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, to pledge support with their eyes set on collaboration.
All this will not happen, meaning, if we don't really turn the lives of the younger people around.
While appreciating their visit and the measure of their individual contributions to nation building, the First Lady wants them to take the lead in driving women inclusion.
I need you to mentor young women. Help them. The ones you can educate, give scholarship to, do it. Don't look for volume. Take one and take that person through life. What about the young girls out there? You should go look for them. You should mentor them. You should birth more Abike out there. And a lot of wonderful women like you. You should birth more.
She says their experiences and exposure must be brought to bear in changing the narratives for women.
But who would now speak for the women? Are you going to now be in front with women engineers, women this, women that? We can start a group so that there will be voices. You have the CJ now, who is the woman, the head of service, who is a woman now, and who are women, several of them. That these are women who, as we are speaking on this now, they can speak on our behalf.
That common front is expected to manifest in the first instance as the forum pledged to work with the First Lady in actualizing our desire to complete the ongoing construction of the National Library.
Beyond that, how can we raise younger women to succeed in life? What values can we share with them? And who else to start that conversation with but Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And I'm going to do my best, as the First Lady has charged us, to try and help more women, especially young women, to also grow into leadership positions.
You look after a woman and she gives birth to not just in the biological sense. It's a multiplier effect because we are such social and nurturing creatures. So it's impactful because it multiplies.
As female chief executive officers in the public sector, they have individual mandates to achieve set government agenda while working together as a forum to network, share knowledge, and advance policies aimed at empowering women. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu congratulates the Etsu-Nupe and the chairman of Niger State Council of Traditional Rulers, Alhaji Yahaya Abubakar, on his 73rd birthday on September 12, 2025, and 22nd year on the throne. President Tinubu commends the first-class traditional ruler for his patriotic service to the country and leadership within the country's traditional institutions. Alhaji Abubakar served in the military, holding important operational positions before retiring as Brigadier General and ascended the throne as the 13th Etsu-Nupe in 2003. He believes that Etsu-Nupe's humility, courage and leadership experience have been brought to bear on his responsibilities as chairman, Abuja Mosque, and chairman, coordinating committee of the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria. President Tinubu prays for more years for Etsu-Nupe and greater wisdom, beseeching Almighty Allah to keep his reign over the Nupe kingdom. And that concludes Nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nolin Ebel Ame. Bye for now.